Last time on TLDR.
I want this to be a forum where we can come and all of us together can voice opinions. If a film is fucking shit, even if I swear, that doesn't mean that if you like the film, you have to swear back at me. You can just say, I actually quite like the film. And then I'll go to you.
This time on TLDR.
I completely agree with that because it's something I've really noticed ever since Batman v Superman came out. Despite the fact that nothing in my life will ever make me watch that film unless somebody puts a gun against my head. But it's divided the internet between like 2/3 of people who didn't like it and 1/3 of people who really fucking do. And I really love Skyfall, and you don't, and that's fine, because we can at least, reach an agreement, like, okay, we're gonna differ here. But I felt like with Alien Covenant, there's again, like the 2/3 that didn't like it, and the 1/3 that really did, but they're quite adamant about it, and I really don't like the adamant.
Really? Did you think it was that kind of fan base? Because my experience was kind of the same people who disliked Prometheus disliked Covenant and kind of levied similar criticisms at it. And then,
but we spoke about this. It's like I quite like Covenant.
Yeah. But the people that have come to me, sort of going to bat for Covenant, were the people that were like, I don't know. I think people are being too harsh, but I never got kind of a vitriolic response. I never got somebody coming up to me going like, people are being dicks, like, fuck, Covenant's dick. Like, I never got like anger. It was just kind of like, do you know the response that I got? People who like Covenant, they were almost apologetic about it. They were kind of making excuses for it.
Oh, like how I am for Suicide Squad.
I don't know, are you? I don't know.
I think Suicide Squad is a solid 5 out of 10, and you can watch it and turn your brain off and pretend it's like Resident Evil.
I won't.
I mean, you don't have to, but it's like a Resident Evil film, like one of the early ones, probably. You can turn your brain off, you can watch it, you'll be like, I saw some people do some stuff, and that's the end.
I do like the early Resident Evil films.
I think I like those better than Suicide Squad. But so if you're telling me like somebody can say like it's similar, like I can watch Covenant but not think it's great, that's fine. But some people have been to me like, no, it's actually pretty good. I'm like, it's never going to be pretty good. It's not a pretty good film. But never mind. It's Ridley Scott, James Cameron. They don't have the magic anymore.
Yeah, I do feel like every time they go back to it, kind of damage the legacy a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, because Ridley Scott, even if he only did Alien in his entire career, for me personally, would rank up there among the greatest directors of all time. But every time he goes back to it, he seems to taint his legacy a little bit. It's like if you take sort of Ridley Scott against, say, Spielberg, to my knowledge, has never done a film that's really tainted that kind of. Do you know what I mean? He's never tainted his sainthood.
I'll say Ridley Scott has probably done more masterpieces than Spielberg has.
Ooh,
because if you look at Alien and then you look at anything, okay, maybe Jaws, but.
And Close Encounters.
Close Encounters as well, I suppose. But Spielberg is like a good, solid, like, let's say, 4 to 5 star director most of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's done some, like, 3-star ones as well. But then Ridley Scott has got, like, 1, 2, 3, 5-star, like, perfect films, but the rest are all, like, why the fuck did I ever watch an Australian person play Robin Hood again?
I mean, I guess this is the thing between being an auteur. Is that the word? Auteur?
Yeah, that's the word you're looking for.
versus like Spielberg, who see, I know I said earlier on, and this is probably going to be chopped into several episodes, so it'll make no sense. But I know I said earlier on that gun to head, I would say Kubrick was my favourite. I think Spielberg is probably the greatest director, and I think this is why. It's because if you look at somebody like an auteur, like Ridley Scott, versus somebody like Spielberg, who, with Spielberg, it always feels like you're working to that Hollywood standard, and it all looks a bit too chintzy, you know, a bit too perfect.
He made the Hollywood standard. That's probably...
Yes, he did. But you know, I think people I think if people compare kind of Spielberg to like Scorsese, Ridley Scott, Kubrick, people like that, because Spielberg's films look so perfect, I think people just go, you know, big budget, anybody could have, you know, it's studio, it's not director. But what Spielberg does isn't all the little nuanced bullshit. Spielberg's it is very grand tapestry stuff. And I mean, if you're talking about Jaws is a masterpiece for some, like Jaws, right? When I was in school, we had to study Jaws for media studies, so we watched it twice over, and then we had to write an essay about it. And you would think that would be enough to drive you away for a film for the rest of your life. But every time it's on TV, I watch it. I fucking love it. Me having to sit down at 15 and write an essay about a film, it just made me like the film even more. It's so perfect in every way. The fucking character building, the atmospherics, the thing that they don't show the shark that often, it's due to budget restraints, etc., etc., etc. But then also, you're looking at like...
That's magic.
You're looking at Close Encounters, but then you're looking at it's fucking Schindler's List. Jurassic Park. Like,
Jurassic Park? Oh my god. No, seriously, it's like some people sometimes dismiss that, but that is still such a fucking good...
And do you know why it's so good? Because if you look at the half animatronic, half CGI, 1993.
It still looks good to this day.
If you look at the CGI in films that came out in 97, 98, 99, even in the early 2000s, they don't hold up near as good as Jurassic Park 1 does. Spielberg is the absolute master of making an Hollywood film. He is probably the greatest director of all time. I don't know how you can argue against it. Like, and he's done so many. Like, what director could have made Schindler's List and Jurassic Park? Fuck's sake! How do you make both of those films do? Like, Jesus, that's the equivalent of like that is like as if our modern day equivalents would be like fucking Pacific Rim, yeah, and Mother. Like, if Aronofsky or Guillermo del Toro had knocked both of those out, like, Jesus, that's just not the kind of thing that people do. You don't do both of those things side by side and then casually produce Back to the Future on the side.
He produced those.
Yeah, he produced, but I don't know about the sequels. Spielberg was producer.
Well, the sequels were done by the people that directed the first one. So if he produced the first one, that would explain why I always thought it was like the same energy, the same, again, like you said, tapestry. It's probably tapestry. World building, the same dynamics. Mind you, he also produced Transformers 1, so it's not like...
No, he's not perfect. Also, Crystal Skull.
I quite like Crystal Skull.
Do you know, I haven't seen it. I won't lie. I'm not going to say it.
Oh, so why you... Oh, why?
Because everyone says it.
Everybody bat-mouths it like, oh, he hides in a fridge. Oh, there's some gophers. There's monkeys. That's fine.
But I think they get progressively worse, and then some. You know, the consensus is the latest one is the worst.
No. It's 1 is the best. 3 is probably close to on par, and
so that is 3
with Sean Connery.
Which one's 3? What's it called? Temple of Doom.
No. Temple of Doom is 2.
Okay.
3 is the Holy Grail.
All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. The Last Crusade.
The Last Crusade. Sorry. And then Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull are both
for a full and frank breakdown of this bullshit. Look up James Richardson talking about the Indiana Jones films because he thinks the only reason that people, and this plays into your hands here, people dislike Crystal Skull is nostalgia. Because James Richardson argues nothing in the Crystal Skull is any more outrageous or stupid than stuff that happens in the older sequels. It's just that, the audience was younger. So
I agree with that 99%, aside from the 1%, which is in the Crystal Skull, very early on, they go like,
oh, hang on, this isn't human.
And then the rest of the film is like, this isn't human, 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 this isn't human. Because everything is...
you're going, but we established that in the first 10 minutes.
Like
why do you keep telling me?
At one point we see like this killer group of ants, which is quite frightening because then that's a great scene in that film. They run around the MacGuffin, the Crystal Skull, which is an alien skull. And then it's like, oh, like, we already know that this Crystal Skull is fucking weird. We didn't really need another emphasis on that. And then we still get another emphasis later on, like,
oh, these ruins are not human.
Like, okay, we got it by now. But then we have Temple of Doom, which has Steven Spielberg's ex-wife screaming the entire fucking film around a 10-year-old Asian kid who just goes like, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones! Like, okay, Temple of Doom has great moments, but so does fucking Crystal Skull. Like I said, a huge amount of fire ants, or at least like the movie equivalent of fire ants, which are the size of your thumb. They attack and devour like several Russian soldiers. And there's a fight between Indy and a big guy, because Indy has to fight a big guy in every... And it's just so many good scenes in that film. It's just that, like you said, nostalgia blinds. It blinds a lot. So, at the very least, Crystal Skull is like 7, but people like to think in things like black and white, so it's a 1 instead of a 10.
Yeah. Mind
you, John Hurt was in that.
In Crystal Skull?
Yeah, John Hurt was in Crystal Skull. My favourite secondary character, I don't know the actor playing him, but he plays like this, like he's always been on adventures with Indy, but it's like, Jonesy, my best friend, but he immediately rats him out to the Russians so he can make a little bit of a buck. Oh, I'm going to Google this and then I'm going to come back with...
Ray Winston.
5 minutes? You want to have a test break?
No, I said Ray Winston.
Ray Winston, thank you.
I just knew it from the Jonesy.
Ray Winston in the Crystal Skull.
I just knew it from you going... I knew it just by you going, Jonesy.
Jonesy!
Because I knew he was in it, and then when I knew that he said, Jonesy.
He's so great because he flips from every side just to make a buck. But in the end, he dies because he's like... He gets too greedy, and then Indiana Jones tries to save him, but he's like, don't save me, I fucked myself over. I did this to myself, and he basically... self-sacrifices himself so Indiana Jones doesn't try to save his life.
He's Benny in The Mummy, only self-sacrificial.
What, the guy that is that gets killed in the temple?
The guy who's like a little... He's Brendan Fraser's mate. He's a little weed, and he's all like bowing down to Imhotep. And then when the temple starts coming down, he tries to run out and tries to get saved, and he gets left behind, and Brendan Fraser's just like, oh well, goodbye.
Yeah, that's the guy that stole the horses. He's like, ha, we have your horses. Well,
yes.
Ha, we're on the right side of the river.
Yeah. Fuck you, how good's The Mummy though?
The Mummy is good as well.
Do you know what was hilarious? When I was in my late teens, so I was at college and stuff, like when you're at college and you get like arty, you know what I mean? You think, oh, I know about the cinema now, and I'm cool, and I'm like, because like I did like media studies at college, yeah, you know what I'm saying, yeah. When I'm like 19, yeah, and I think I know everything about everything, right, yeah. And my girlfriend, she did film studies, and she used to read Empire magazine, all that shit, you know what I mean? She was like proper big, like. she used to recommend all these films, but all these like French titled movies and stuff like that. I was like, "Fuck is this shit?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Like, he was a proper film buff, and her favourite film ever of all time was The Mummy. That was her favourite film ever. Like she was like, I'll never forget the day that Empire magazine released their top 500 list of the best films ever made, and we read through it and we were both like, "Oh, what's coming on? What's coming on? The Godfather," and we were both like, "Oh, how cliche! The Godfather, yeah. Oh, how cliche!" And like, yeah, and her favourite film ever is The Mummy. It was the best. Like, the day I found that out, I was like, really, The Mummy. That's you. The person that wants to be a film critic when they leave college. Your favourite film is The Mummy. All right then, but I can see why. Because there's a difference between saying it's my favourite and
it's the best film of all time.
But but if she had said what the best film of all time was, she probably would have been wrong about that. She would have said something shit like Gone with the Wind or something like that. Have you seen it? Shit in it.
I haven't. No.
It's shit. Don't watch it. It's shit.
My favourite film is Trainspotting, but
I mean that's it though. I mean, Trainspotting could stand.
It does stand along the greats. I'll really get that. But if you ask me, like, one of the other ones I would never defend as one of the best films ever, it would be Shoot 'Em Up.
Oh, yeah, see? Yeah, I'm with you. My number one always is, and I think for any man alive, and I think for any human alive, but certainly for any man alive, I don't know how your favourite film can't be Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is the easiest film to watch in the world. It's amazing. It's got everything, and it's my ultimate example of like nobody would ever tell you that Rocky 4 is the best film ever made. But my God, it is my favourite film. It is amazing.
I always like Part 3 more.
Right, that is valid. That's absolutely valid. I did till I was about 15. And then I realised, I was like, nah, I've been an idiot. There's a bit in Rocky 4 where James Brown comes out and plays Apollo Creed to the ring. That's incredible. But when I made the missus sit and watch all the Rocky films, the only one that she references to this day is Rocky 4.
It's the most gimmicky. It's the most memey.
It's fucking incredible. It's absolutely amazing. But this is the thing: is that Rocky 1, Sylvester's, that's an Oscar-winning film. Rocky 1 is an Oscar-winning film, and yet I'd much rather watch 3 or 4. And I know they're a bit shit, but they're amazing.
I've still never seen 5, despite the fact that that's supposed to be solid-ish.
Right, do you know what? 5, it doesn't do the things that you want a Rocky film to do. It is by no means a satisfying ending to the story. You, having seen Creed, have you seen Rocky Balboa?
Yes.
You can probably watch 5 and quite enjoy it. Because when I watched 5, to me, that was the end of the saga. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't going to be a sequel. But to you, it's just a bump in the road. But 5's like years removed from the fact. It's okay. 5 gets a bad rep in terms of being looked at like it's not as good as the others. So therefore,
would you say 5 is like the Crystal Skull?
A bit, yeah. Like it's not as good as the others. Therefore, it's terrible. Whereas if it was released on its own, it'd be 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, kind of average.
Because what I read about 5 was like he was supposed to die at the end.
Apparently so, yeah. Apparently he was meant to die at the end. But the studio, which would have been better, which would have been a better end, but probably wouldn't have been worth sacrificing Rocky Balboa and, from what you've said, Creed for. So, good luck editing this, by the way.
Well, the fart.
No, this is a chair.
But good
luck.
Chair.
But no, good luck editing. About every hour and a half or so, we throw back to something else from a previous conversation.
That's fine. It makes people want to listen to the rest.
Okay.
So I got my SNES Mini today.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
how do you pronounce it? Is it a SNES? Is it a SNES? Or is it a Super Nintendo?
Well, I mean, I think for me, my entire life, SNES and Super Nintendo were interchangeable. Like, when I was a kid, I used to say SNES to people that were in the know, i.e., other kids, and if Santa asked me what I wanted for Christmas, I used to say Super Nintendo.
Well, exactly the same over here, but apparently Americans look down on people who say SNES because apparently you're supposed to say NES, therefore it's an SNES.
Yeah, I know, and I mean that's America for you.
Fuck America.
Yeah,
basically they got a blocky Mattel toy because with grey and purple designs.
Oh god, I saw that.
That's ugly, isn't it?
In it? How did you not hear about the thing about people trying to pay big money to try and get the European ones shipped in?
Really? What? I should have bought like several of these and sold them to American then.
Then you would have been part of the problem.
Oh, I hate scalpers though, but
I know, like, it is the worst, isn't it?
Scalpers are the fucking
absolute
worst. Mind you, the only reason I have my NES Mini is because somebody said to me, like, I bid something on eBay, the Dutch eBay, and he said to me, like, I hate scalpers, but the top 3 bids above you were all fucking scalpers, so you're getting it.
Wow.
So I paid like €10 more than cost price of an NES Mini. NES
That's
Mini.
pretty good, though.
So it's like, what was it, €100 instead of a 90?
Yeah.
So that's still okay, I suppose.
No, that's good. It's alright, that's good.
Still had to get a second controller because
The one thing about getting a SNES Mini, like when that was when they announced the NES Mini, I was like, okay, I kind of want this, and then there was all that trouble with it. When they announced the SNES Mini, I was like, oh shit, okay, all right. But then, like, you must have heard about this this Netflix style system that they're going to have at some point
with the Switch.
The Switch, yeah.
Yes.
So are all those games going to be available anyway?
I'm not quite sure because at one point they suggested that they might only have like one free game per month.
Yeah, but then didn't that get nixed because they were saying, oh, you what you're going to get is you're going to get one game a month, and if you like it, you can pay and you can sign up.
I don't know.
But then that got bad feedback, and it was like, didn't they in the end say, oh, you're just going to pay a monthly fee to pay for a library like Netflix style?
I don't know, but either way,
that was the last I heard was if you pay a monthly fee, you're going to get a back catalogue of Nintendo games. And I was like, well, why would you buy a Mini then?
I'm not quite sure if that's the end result, but if it helps, I quite like the fact I've got like a NES Mini and a SNES Mini on my television cabinet, and if I ever feel the need to just turn on the game.
Did you get both then in the end?
Yes.
Shit, man, how did you pull that off? That's amazing.
The NES was, like I said, on eBay, like several months after the fact they stopped producing them. So I got lucky, I suppose. And the SNES is like one of my pre-orders went through, so I'm like, cool, I'll keep this. And because I'm a gentleman, I'll cancel the rest.
Nice, thank you.
I'm not a fucking scalper cunt.
What a gentleman. What a gentleman.
So I got them right next to each other.
So I know what games came on the NES. What games actually came on the SNES? Because I never looked it up because I knew I was never going to buy it.
I've got the box right next to me. I'm going to list them off for you.
How many is there? 30? 40?
21.
Oh, that's less than the NES.
Well, intentionally so, but it's really weird because I found out today that they have the same hardware, so they could have done everything on the NES, on the SNES thing with the man.
I'm trying to think of what my favourite game ever was on the SNES.
So it's basically like the SNES stuff can all run on the classic NES Mini as well. That's the weirdest thing.
That is weird, okay.
Because I saw somebody life hack that. Like, look at me. I'm playing Secret of Mana on the NES Mini Classic. Well, fuck you.
Is Donkey Kong Country on there?
I'm going to list them off for you right now. Super Mario
Yeah.
World, the best Mario.
No, the best. No. The best game. The best game.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, there it is. That's all. That's all I need. That's all I need. Those two games. That's all I need.
F-Zero,
No,
which
played it.
is still fucking good.
I played it.
Secret of Mana. Haha. Super Castlevania 4, which is still to this day probably the best linear Castlevania there is. Not like Metroidvania, but like
that is high praise.
yeah, it's basically like the best Castlevania that has a level-based system. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is really fucking hard, but really fucking good as well, so you'll hate yourself for playing it. Earthbound, Contra 3, Super Punch-Out, Super Metroid, Star Fox, or Star Wing as we know it, says even here between brackets, Star Wing in Europe, Final Fantasy 3, or Final Fantasy 6 in Japan, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, Super Mario Kart, Mega Man X, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby Superstar, and that's Kirby Superstar, so good, Super Mario World 2, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the hyper fighting in
Oh my god. The game of my childhood.
I can't think of a single game. I do have several games I would like to see on there, but it's basically like all the fucking classics.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, if you could pick one to add, it's like, okay, if you can add one, then pick one to drop. It's like, I mean,
Probably drop Contra 3.
the ones I'd be dropping, the ones I hadn't played. I'm not going to say I played all of them, but fuck, man, all of the when I owned a SNES, all of the games that I loved absolutely were there. The Punch Out, I had forgotten. Actually, I had forgotten how good Super Punch Out SNES. I'd totally forgotten that I played that game because I knew I played Punch Out in the like Mike Tyson was all that shit. I knew I played all those. I'd totally forgotten that I used to spend hours on end losing at Super Punch Out, and the second you said it, it warped me back about 20 years, and there I was, sat watching my health bar drain away. Do you know? I've always thought the SNES was the best games console I've ever had. I've always thought it was just nostalgia, but Jesus.
It's between the SNES and the PlayStation 2 for the best library of games.
Bollocks to the PS2. The PS2 died on me within 6 months. It can fucking. No, I think it like.
I don't want to be too nostalgia blind, but the SNES, it's something about the pixel art of that time that still sticks with me to this day. It's like when I see a Kickstarter for a game that has like excellent pixel art, or I see a Kickstarter for a game that is like, oh, here's our attempt at polygons. I'd rather be like, oh yeah, I'll go with the guys doing the pixel art, please.
I think it's just because it clearly renders the world, and yet that can never age. Like that, if you look at that Super Mario World, you wouldn't never want it to be like remastered because it doesn't need to be.
And then you look at Super Mario 64 and you're like, I'm glad they put up the better version on the DS.
Exactly. I think that's why that the sort of aesthetic nostalgia is attached to the 90s is because games at that point weren't the limitations in a way that if you had to be 2D animated, you just made it look dead good 2D, and that can't be improved on. Whereas technologies were developing, and if you were making a 3D game, it's only going to look worse later on, and therefore, games from the 2000s haven't aged well. Blinks didn't exactly catch on the way Xbox thought.
Species.
Well, the film Species.
I'm joking, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but yeah.
Oh, by the way, it comes with a free 21st game. Star Fox 2.
Is that any good?
It has never been released before.
I mean, in that case, then it is actually quite good. No, isn't it? No, the fact that you're going to.
Let me put it like this: Star Fox 2 was finished, and then it was cancelled because they thought that releasing it on the Super Nintendo would distract people too much from the Nintendo 64.
And then they released that Star Fox game that had the Rumble Pack with it, didn't they?
Yeah, and they stole most of the aesthetics from the Nintendo 64 game from Star Fox 2. Do you know the bit where you suddenly like, free-range mode on, and you're like suddenly flying around a map?
Yes.
That was done on Super Nintendo hardware.
I can believe it.
So, it's got like a game that's never been released before in our lives on the SNES Mini Classic.
Do you know what? I think Nintendo got by on a shitload of goodwill, you know.
Yes. That's why they survived GameCube and the Wii U eras.
Oh, GameCube is alright.
It's alright, but it didn't do as well as the rest. Mind you, they've always been super strong in the handheld eras.
I was going to say, that was what I was going to counter with, like, did you own a fucking handheld in those? Like, Jesus, man. Have you ever thrown a DSi down the stairs?
No.
Do it, it won't even fucking flinch.
It depends how it lands, because I once broke a DS and it was open and it fell on the clasp.
Okay. But no, man, like, I've got
but there's a reason why Nintendo is, renowned for durable hardware.
Yeah, I've got a Game Boy Advance SP that I still play now.
I have a Game Boy Color that still works.
Yeah, I've no doubt. Absolutely no doubt.
The only Game Boy I've ever had that stopped working was because my younger brother took it to a beach once and it got sand in it.
What? In which part? The battery part or the game?
Green.
How?
It got into the edges and then it got behind the edges.
How?
Because it got between the edges and then got behind the edges.
Did you fight him? But like, wait. How old were you?
He was
36.
No, I'm not even 36 now, you fucking dipshit.
No, I mean him. I don't know how old you are. I don't know.
No, he's my younger brother.
Alright, I don't know. God.
We were not even probably 12 yet.
Yeah, so did you fight him?
I don't think I did.
Well, you should have. I would have. If my brother had destroyed my Game Boy, I would have fight him.
No, it was community.
It
was a community property because we always bought our consoles together.
This conversation's going nowhere. I need a piss. So speaking of video games...
Speaking of video games, yes, hello.
And so, lurching wildly from nostalgia to the present day...
Well, that's quite a leap, but yes.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Red Dead?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
I haven't.
Have you played the original Red Dead?
I have not played the original Red Dead. I have played the original Red Dead Redemption. This is Red Dead Redemption 2, they're actually calling it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit disappointed.
I am very disappointed in the name.
Yeah, Alex Navarro. Don't know if you're familiar with his work.
No.
Dutch listener. Don't know if you're familiar with his work either, listener. But he is a Giant Bomb contributor and such, and he said he's very disappointed with the name because I didn't want Red Dead Redemption 2. I wanted, Red Dead Revolver, Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead something else,
Yes! Revenge!
That's what Alex Navarro said.
I was gonna go for Red Dead Revenge because...
But what? Because the last game set you up fucking perfectly. Duh.
I've never played Red Dead Redemption, but we all know the ending. We all know it ends like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. We know facing the Hungarian army at the end. Bolivian army.
Hungarian.
Foreign people. The Bolivian army ending.
That's fucking out of the blue.
And
yes, it is
then
Bolivian
we
army.
have Red Dead Redemption, and so it's like, fine, the first one was called Red Dead Revolver, Now, what are you going to call the next one? And friend of the show, Rupert, he was like, oh, I'll quite like Red Dead Redemption. I'm like, what do you expect the next one to be called? He's like, oh, probably like Revenge. I'm like, Revenge is a great name.
Revenge is a great name.
Or you could be like Red Dead Resurrection. I mean, it wouldn't be your literal resurrection, probably. Or Red Dead, rematch. Red Dead, whatever the fuck.
Anyway, so...
Red Dead Riptide. Red Dead, whatever the fuck. Any word with the letter R. But no.
Red Dead Retard.
They went... Exactly. But they went for Red Dead Redemption 2.
So, but have you seen the trailer?
Yes.
Is it good? Right, okay, again, Alex Navarro said, it looks fun and you can rob a train and everything, but it looks just like cowboy stuff again, like, it's not amazing.
It looks like it wants to be like the Magnificent Seven, but then...
Which the posters seem to suggest.
Yeah, and that looks okay. But they're focusing on stuff like, in what I've seen, like in pictures, like there's horse testicles in it.
Brilliant. Okay.
But
I'm fully on board now. All right.
But it's like the rest is all like it's just sameish.
Yeah, like, and this is the thing, like, I don't want this to be the bullshit everyone's gonna get down on Red Dead podcast, because I liked Red Dead Redemption a whole lot. It was dead good, but I didn't finish it because about 2/3 of the way through, it got proper samey. It didn't keep me going to the end because it didn't have the hooks that GTA does. It just didn't keep me interested enough.
And that's bad. A game should have its hooks in you until the very end. It should make you fucking hate the fact you have to put it down when you're like getting towards the end.
Yeah, ideal world, yeah, but I can get on board with a bit of monotony, but with Red Dead, it felt like it relied too much on the novelty of you're a cowboy, you got horses, you can go around, you can get bounties, and that is dead fun. It is dead fun, but it wasn't fun enough to carry me through to the end, and I'm worried that this new one will be the same again, where it's fun, it is super fun to play for a while, but it ain't going to be enough to keep you coming back.
And that's exactly what I think it looks like. It looks like it's not innovating, it's just going to be more of the same.
Yeah, and, I'll be honest, disappointed, because I think Rockstar, more than any other studio, innovate. I think they always innovate, they always do something you're not expecting, and so up until the point the game comes out, I'll still be hopeful, I'll still be like, oh, maybe, but from what I've seen so far...
It's quite easy to look at Rockstar, like GTA 3, which was like the first 3D one, then you had Vice City, which implemented like a more of a narrative feel to it.
I can't say enough about Vice City.
And then they had San Andreas, and they were like, okay, we'll add like additional gameplay mechanics, like what was it again? Like keeping yourself fit.
And he gets fat and he gets thin and he can have an haircut.
But it's like it's still an evolution. And then 4 came out, and 4 was like, well, look at this new world now. It's like it was okay. It was like a step up. And then 5 was like, you now have 3 characters, and they're all characters, all completely different from one another. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is like Red Dead Redemption seems like, but then prettier, and then several people.
But what I will say is, when the trailers for GTA 5 came out, I was very excited. But the experience I ended up getting from that game was so much more than what the trailer... it was completely different, in fact, from what the trailer... Like, when the trailers came out, it was like, oh, look, you can ride a dirt bike and jump off a thing and, like, let a parachute out. That was what the trailers were saying. But when I played the actual game of GTA 5, I was so much deeper and so much richer. So I can only hope that Red Dead 2... Is that what we're calling it? Ah, Jesus. Red Dead 2, fuck's sake. R2D2. I can only hope that does a similar thing where where they're too good to release a game that is just more of the same. They've never done that before. Why should they do it now? I hope that they release a game that's more than I'm expecting. The last time they released a game that was more than I was expecting, it was literally the best game I ever played, and that was GTA 5. So hopefully this will follow the same pattern. And until release date, I'll have faith.
Yeah, like, I'm trying not to be harsh on them because I expect the best, but it's probably not going to make me buy a console that I really can't afford willy-nilly.
Oh shit! Actually, yeah, that was the other thing. That
because it's not going to be out on the PC.
It's only slated for release for 360 and PS4. I assume it will come to PC at some point. I guess we're looking at the same sort of timescales as GTA 5.
Yeah, that was a year later, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, this is the other thing. Is that I'm probably not at this point. I'm probably not going to buy a PS4. I've wanted a PS4 for the longest time. Actually, I pre-ordered a PS4. I've wanted one for the longest time, but I'd rather have a Switch now.
I can easily point you several games I will want to play on the Switch, which I can't afford at the moment, rather than the ones I can say, well, these are the ones only on the PS4.
And the thing that it comes down to me is, what games are out for the Switch that aren't out for the PC?
That will never be.
What games are out for the PS4 that aren't out for the PC? Because I tell you, the games that are out for both the PS4 and the PC are numerous.
Nintendo exclusive library is one of the things that has helped them stay alive for many years.
Without a doubt.
And I don't really mind because I'll freely admit I'm a fucking fanboy.
Well, I haven't had a Nintendo console since the SNES, and I don't mind either because I am just glad that they keep making good video games.
Friend of the show, who's really into football on Twitter.
Oh, right.
He often makes fun of me for liking the Nintendo very much. He's like, well, the only reason why he managed to not be is because he avoided falling into the pit traps when he was very young. So it's probably like part nostalgia, part quality game production. Because, like, let's call Nintendo like the Spielberg of games. Even if it's bad, you're still going to have a good time.
I'll go with that. But I don't know. That seems kind of harsh on Nintendo and Spielberg. Like, I think Nintendo almost stands a lot. Nintendo should be held up and applauded. 30 years now, we're looking at impeccable releases. 30 years of absolutely unparalleled brilliance. The industry standard for 30 years. See, like, seriously, think about it. No one's come close. Like, yeah, I'll grant you, they don't release that many games anymore. But when they do, it means a lot. Like, shit, like, what's the age difference between fucking the first Super Mario Bros. Game and the first Smash Brothers game? What's that? 10 years? 20 years?
I was 16 when Smash Bros. Came out, and 7 when... Fuck me. I think I might have been 7 when Super Mario Brothers came.
13 years. And it's a completely... And
that's 3 console generations.
Yeah, and not only is it a completely new IP, it's a new style of game. I don't know of any party battle game before Smash Bros.
They made the party battle game. They made the Kart Racer, which is so much different from a generic racer.
Oh my god, they made the Kart Racer. Oh, how did I miss that one?
It's because it's like you don't think of it because it's a racer.
Because it's such an establishment.
But it's like they invented the kart racer, so many other companies made a kart racer as well. But it's like nothing ever really comes close to Mario Kart. And
no. Of course it isn't. Although, have you ever been in those you know in an arcade, when you go into a video game arcade? There's like the motorbike racer games, the quad racer games. You like get strapped in and like actually steer the thing. Yeah, Have you played Mario Kart in one of those?
There is one at my local cinema, but I've never played it.
It's fucking amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And the first time you try and turn with like the 3D thing in front of you, you just go, oh shit, I'm in the barrier. What the? It's such a trip. Like trying to like readjust like what real life reactions should be to Mario should be, and then also you're playing alongside people in real time. Blue shells you, and then you're screaming at the person actually in real life to your right, going, "What the fuck, dude!" Oh, it's amazing, so funny.
Yeah, I used to play a lot of arcade when I was a kid, but apparently, like, the best ones came out just after I stopped. Mind you, I did play the Simpsons Arcade in when it was...
the four player?
Yeah, the 4-player one.
Oh, man. So, when I was growing up, we never had a culture of, you know, like, competitive 1v1. That was never a thing, but every time I used to go to the seaside with my family, me and my brothers and my sister used to fucking get on that Simpsons cooperative game. Oh, my dude. Oh, what a video game.
It's so good, because me and my younger brother, we were in Italy and they had that cabinet. And then we realised, hang on, with the pocket money we get, we can't beat it in like a couple of days. Because it's hard as balls. So, what if we wait like a week? And this is when I started to develop like strategic thinking. Like, if we keep our pocket money, then we can spend all our money in one big fucking session and beat the fucking game. And that's exactly what we did. We were like, oh yeah, we got so much coins for single entries.
You beat the Simpsons game.
I don't know how much money it took, but I beat the fucking Simpsons game.
Shit.
And after we were done, we were like, woo! And we still had money left. I'm like, what do we do next? And he's like, Street Fighter's right over there. Let's play Street Fighter.
Oh shit, okay. Because I was going to go, did you not feel empty? Did you not reach in and go like...
No, yeah, because we beat it, and then we went to Street Fighter because we still had money left. And then people behind us were like, but you're starting the game over, because if you have credits left when you beat the final boss, you start off at the beginning. I'm like, I don't fucking care, I beat the game. So me and my younger brother, we spent like the rest of the money on Street Fighter matches, like 4 in a row. And then he's like, no, I give up. And then I beat Street Fighter that same day for the first time. And despite the fact, it's like, I beat 2 games that day. That's so weird. Because on the Super Nintendo, I could never beat them. But in the arcade, I fucking trounced the bad guys. Italy, man. Not Lago Maggiore. I don't remember where in Italy. It was fucking fantastic. Plus, we beat them at volleyball that year. The Italians versus the Dutch.
Well done.
Fuck the Italians. Despite the fact they're very lovely people that hosted our camping. On that note,
yes.
Ryan Gosling was in Young Her. I think it might be a good night from you.
It's a good night from me.
And a good night from...
Me again.
Hey!
Good night from me again.
It's you twice over.
Me twice over. Good night.
This has been TLDR. Thank you very much. I'll see what I can salvage. And this is already not going in because the music is already starting to well up. You know, like, I like to go like the music.